What if I told you that the moment you bring something into the house, your brain starts assigning it value, even if it's junk? Yes. Think of something that you brought in or something that you downloaded to your computer. Even if you downloaded it 2 years ago and have never looked at it again, all of a sudden it's valuable and it's harder to get rid of. So in today's episode, I'm talking with Zeenat Siman, a professional organizer and total systems nerd like me, about what it really takes to get organized when you have a million other things going on. So we're diving into her concept of being choosy. Choosy with your space, choosy with your time, choosy with your to-dos. We talk about the psychology of clutter, micro decluttering strategies that you can literally do while putting your socks away or unloading the dishwasher, how to run a sprint, a declutter organizing sprint to make real progress fast, and the idea of no cry mornings. Not just for your kids, but for yourself when you're getting dressed, when you're leaving the house on time. She shares her framework for how she handles her to-do lists and eliminating tasks before you ever attempt to time block them in. So you are going to love this. You're going to love this conversation. Very down to earth, very action strategy, practical focused. So practically focused. Okay, let's jump in and also go check out when my training is this week. It is at simplysquaredaway.com/training and join me to see the 15-minute decluttering challenge in action and learn exactly what you need to know to declutter in 15 minutes.
Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. When I first heard Zeenat say this word choosy, I loved it and I thought, I want to have her on the podcast. So Zeenat is a special guest for me today. So welcome, Z. I'm going to call you Z.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay. You said when we were talking a while back, you said something about choosy organizing. And I was like, oh, yes, that is such a good topic. So I want to talk about how can being choosy about what we organize in our business or in our home. So let's talk about both. We both have businesses, really save us time and help us scale more easily. So when I ask you that, what first comes to your mind?
Often when people begin to think about, oh, I have to get organized, I have to organize things, it's this all-encompassing, I have to do everything. And if you think about just your business, it's okay, I'm serving clients, but then I've got all this other stuff I'm supposed to do. And if I don't get it all done in this perfect order and in this perfect way, then I'm behind. Then I shouldn't even bother with anything else. And the same thing for our homes. If I can't organize and declutter all the toys, then I'm not doing it right. And that's absolutely not true. Not true at all. And that's why I talk about being choosy. We just really need to focus on what's really going to make a difference, what's really bothering us right now. And that's where we focus our energy.
Okay, so then how do you decide what's bothering us right now? And let me stop for a minute too, because when you were saying that in the beginning, what I heard that I don't know, it felt new to me, is I walk people through how to organize their business and even how to organize their time. But I don't know why. What just stuck out is all the to-dos. And I don't know, maybe just right now I got off the call with a client and I was working on all the to-dos that she had and thinking about organizing them. Yes, I think about organizing our time and fitting all the to-dos in there. But when you said it in this way, it just made me think, oh, like it is the same thing in our mind about thinking about our whole house, thinking about all our to-dos. It's the same thing. So I'm excited to hear how being choosy, even with our to-dos, is going to help us in our business. But then, yeah, let's talk more about that.
Okay, that's really good because I was dealing with this myself this week, that we had a whole lot of stuff going on in our house. One of our water heaters stopped working. We had an issue with the front door. So it's all these little things that took up our time. And so we weren't able to get the rest of the stuff, the rest of the stuff on our to-do list. And it starts to build up a little bit of anxiety. If I don't get all these things done, I'm going to be behind. And the truth is, when I look at my to-do list now, and this took me a really long time to figure out. It's not like I knew how to do this, but now I look at it with the viewpoint of what can I cut out? That's the first thing I do. So we all have these acronyms, these ways of approaching things. And my acronym for my to-do list is donut, because I love to eat donuts. But basically I pick first what I can do it. If I can do something quickly and it's important and urgent, then I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I look at ONUT. Can I outsource it to somebody? Can I have my husband do it? Can my mom pick up the kids today? Can someone else make this client call for me? That kind of thing. And then next is nix it, delete what is really not necessary for me to do. I had on my list last week, take out the Halloween decorations and start doing it, getting the house ready for Halloween. But we had the hot water issue, the front door issue, and that was just not a priority. So yeah, it would have made me feel good to do it, but it was also causing me anxiety. So I decided that's just going to go. So nix it. And then the next one is uncomplicated. When we put out a big project, like we say, oh, declutter the toy closet. That's a huge thing. That's not it's one task. That's 8 or 10 tasks in one. So I try to really break it down, uncomplicate it. And then I start to dig through it bit by bit. And then the last is T, which is table it. If it doesn't need to be done now, it can wait till later. So that's how I start to look to really sort through my to-do list. And I encourage people to do the same, because sometimes we look at the big to-do list and we try to do those things to say what's really not necessary. But sometimes you just need a little reminder. Is this too complicated? Do I need to uncomplicate it? And so again, it's about being choosy about what is just making you feel right at this moment. And if I look at all my to-do list and I start to look at things and I'm saying them in my head, and when I say one thing, take out the Halloween decorations, it caused me a little bit of anxiety. Oh my gosh, I just don't have time to do this. That's a trigger for me. Oh, wait a minute. Does this really have to be done right now? And so I'm very picky and choosy about what I want to do, but it also has to coincide with what I have the energy to do and the capability to do at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. I do the 4 Ds, which are very similar, but I don't have the uncomplicated, which I love that one. That is really good. Yes. So uncomplicated. Now, I can imagine right now that might think, I don't even have time to write all those down or to look at a list and evaluate it. So what do you say to that?
You only need to write down the primary things. I used to have this long written to-do list, and now all I do is I have the reminder app on my phone, and I've got a little list of the things that I need to do, and that's all I'm going from anymore. I don't try to over control my time. I know myself, and some people need a lot of structure to get things done. But if I have a lot of structure, I feel constrained, and it causes me to, I just can't do it. I just can't meet these. Okay, at 9 a.m., I've got to go to the grocery store. It's not going to happen. Like I know myself. It'll be like 9:15 and I'm still putzing around, putting something else away in the house. And so I know that for me, having a long to-do list doesn't mean that it's something I'm going to get done. And so not having time to create a to-do list is not an end-all be-all. Like it's not your downfall. You just need to remember the things that are important to remember. And yes, I will definitely tell you, write it down somewhere. It can be on your reminder app. It can be on a Post-it note that you carry around with you all day long. That's fine. It could be on multiple Post-it notes all over your house. Whatever works for you, So you don't forget what has to be done, captured it somewhere, but it doesn't have to be this very structured process. And I need to open another app or another planner or another, just do what feels right for you.
That's so good. I just got off a call with someone and we were talking about that, about are you one that schedules everything, or are you one that likes to see white space in your calendar? And so it's just interesting. Yes. And I always think just test it. Test one way. And does that work? And test it for more than one time, but test it and then come back and evaluate and see maybe that isn't right. Maybe I am the person, and that's completely okay. I always think about laundry. When I just do laundry when I see my basket's full, I don't need to do it every Monday morning at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as you have a trigger, and then that brings me to, how do you then decide, being choosy, how do you decide what to spend the time organizing or doing?
Wow. So I do have 3 big things that I want to accomplish every week. And I think a lot of people try to do the same, especially when we have businesses and we're trying to run our households and our families at the same time. You really have to have priorities. Otherwise, nothing gets done. If you're just doing what's at the top of your mind, nothing will move forward. So I do have 3 big priorities that I need to accomplish this week, let's say. And so if I get nothing done except these 3 things, I know that I'm still moving forward. I'm still moving forward. And these are the things that really matter for us, my family, or in my job. And so that's how I begin. So I don't need to have a very detailed, long to-do list of everything I have to do. I know I'm going to go to the grocery store. That's a to-do.
Yeah.
It's going to get done. We're going to need to eat. So I don't necessarily write that down. I do have a grocery list. That gets done automatically, but I don't need to write down, I have to go to the grocery on Monday. That's not how I happen to function. But I do know that I have 3 big things. Even if I get sick or someone else in my family is sick and I need to take care of them, or other things happen, that as long as I complete these 3 big things, I'm moving forward. So I'm very picky and choosy that everything that I do during the week helps me to get at least these 3 things done. Everything else can wait if I don't have the energy or the time to get to it.
I like that thought. Just thinking about that thought, I'm very picky and choosy with what I do. It feels good. It makes it really, I don't know, I feel responsible when I think that. I'm just imagining me thinking that before I start my day. I'm very picky and choosy about what I do today. So since I'm picky and choosy, what would I choose to do? And then I'd make different choices for sure. And I would be more intentional by thinking of that.
I think so. And I think that's exactly it. Is we must have intentions for whatever we're doing with our days. And for me, when I look at my house, I think about, I need to declutter, I need to organize. Where am I going to start? I'm going to start very likely in the public areas. Every day I do a little cleanup, right? Because those are the places that people are going to come in and see. And I want to sit in there and I want them to feel comfortable. And I want to feel comfortable if I'm inviting somebody over. So I will always do a little, as I walk from my bedroom to the kitchen, my eyes are open. Oh, is there something that's out of place here? Is there something that needs to be cleaned or moved? So in those public areas, that's okay. I will always choose to do that first before I think about, I need to tackle my entire wardrobe today. That can be a project that I will make time for. But yeah, I have to have that intention of what is really important for me today. I know I'm having people over. I'm going to clean up just for, as long as the public areas are good, I'm good.
Yeah.
Everything else will happen.
Yeah. So then do you have a decision-making framework or questions that you can teach us to determine if something's worth organizing?
Yeah. And I think everyone has their own sets of kind of decision-making questions. And I have this keep or release test, and it's very simple. It's like a little flow chart about, do I need to keep this or do I not? And it's things like when we're talking about clothing, it's not just, have I worn it within the past year or have I not? Because a lot of people will say, if you haven't worn it within the past year and you're probably not going to wear it again, it's not always true. If it's a formal dress or suit or whatever, you're not going to necessarily wear that every year, but it's something that you might want to keep. So everything with caveats, your wedding dress, you probably want to keep your kids' baptism or christening gowns, or what you want to keep certain things. Yes, I do have a flow chart that I'll send it to you and you can link it. That's fine. But it's very simple and it takes the worry out of things. I think people will tend to, and you know this very clearly, but as soon as something is in your home, it's really hard to get rid of it. Even though maybe it's not sentimental, but someone gave this to me, or I spent money on it, or I should really hang on to it. But as soon as something comes into our house, it now has value for us. And I think we need to break ourselves from that attachment a little bit. And it's a tough thing and it takes repetition to be able to do that, but we start small.
Yeah. That makes me think of too, when someone buys a program or a freebie and they download it and they haven't used it. I like thinking of it where it all of a sudden now has value because it's on your computer and you think that it's important.
I'm more afraid to delete those things. I'm guilty of that. I'm sure I have plenty of things that I've downloaded and I haven't clicked on yet. And yeah, after a while you go through and you purge through those things. But absolutely. Because you know that at that moment in time when you downloaded that thing, it truly was really important to you.
Yes. Or it was available at that time and it was free. If it was a free download, yes. I think we can all relate to that. Okay. So if I'm thinking, let's do both examples, business and organizing and home. If I'm thinking like, what do I start with? Where do I go? What would you have me think through?
So definitely we always want to start with clarity. We want to understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish. What time in my life is this? What's important to me right now? What is it that what are my big goals, not just for me, but also for my family? So whether it's for your home or for your business, where you want to move forward, and you need to have some sort of goal, some sort of idea of a goal, even if it's not fully formed in your mind yet.
Okay.
In my business, like 6 months from now, I want to have a sense of the direction you want to go. So once you have some clarity, then you can start to set some limits around what you are able and what you want to do. So I use a framework called CLEAR. So first is clarify. So you want to really clarify that vision of where you're going and what you want to do. And then you want to set limits. And if it's time, you look at your calendar. Everyone's calendar has the same number of hours. And so I start with putting down my non-negotiables, right? The things that I absolutely can't do without. Like we do movie pizza night every Friday. And so I know that Friday evening, that's it. That's on my calendar. I won't schedule something else around that time unless it's necessary. So those are limits, but we're also talking about physical limits. So if there's a space in my home that's a problem, I know that this is it. This is the only space I have. This is the limit of how much stuff I can keep. And then you edit, and then you start sorting and deciding using the flow chart, what it is that you need to keep and what you need to get rid of. And you do the same with the things that go on your calendar. You really need to have a framework for deciding what is allowed to go on my calendar and what's not necessary. Again, be picky and choosy about what you add. And then
clarify, limit, edit,
and then assign homes.
Okay.
And when I'm talking about time, this is when I actually put things on my calendar. So I start with my non-negotiables. I start with what time I wake up and what time I'm going to bed. And then I start adding the things that I need to do. So those 3 big priorities, those are going to take up a major portion of my calendar. And then the last thing I put on there are like meetings and doctor's appointments and the things that just the fill in.
Right.
But I really focus my calendar on what I want to get done this week first.
Okay. There's the shift. I think most of us see our calendar with all the appointments already on it. And then we try to fit in what our priorities are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's how we learn to do it. And isn't that funny? And I'm sure maybe it was the same thing for you, but I grew up with that's how you do things. Like you make appointments. That's how you start your week. You make appointments, you're going to a job or you're doing your thing, but you make appointments and that's what fits on your calendar. We really need to look at it the opposite way. What's important to me? Where do I want to spend the most of my time? That has to go on first. Everything else will fit around that.
Yeah.
And then after we assign homes, then we review. Like, is it actually working? You said it's a test. Everything is a test. So when you try to start something new, a new project, a new way of doing things, a new way of looking at your to-do list, does it work? Is it working for you? Does it feel good? Does it feel natural? And if not, then you tweak it. And I just do that on a Friday afternoon. I take 30 minutes and I plan the next week. I do the thing with my calendar, but I also look back over the previous week. I'm like that for 5 minutes. It's not like I do a deep reflection. That's not me. But I look and I say, okay, where did I kind of go off track a little bit? Oh, I watched too many episodes of whatever. Again,
Ooh, what is it, Z? What are you watching too many episodes of?
we're watching reruns of The Rookie. We watched Wednesday.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
very light, silly things. But sometimes it goes a little too far. Oh, the Great British Baking Show. My favorite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I love what I love when I'm listening to you talking is that and I think so many people are new and they're wanting to do it and learn a format, which is great. Learn the format, but
Right.
adjust it to know you and how you work. So I love that. It gives me so much freedom. And I love that your method, clear method or framework is so similar to mine. And so it all is, yes, this makes sense. This works.
Yes.
We're both using it for our clients. And I didn't even talk about what tell us about you and your business.
Sure. So I'm a professional organizer. I've been organizing for people for about 8 years now. And I was a chemical engineer. I still am a chemical engineer. Right? Once an engineer, always an engineer. So I'm still a chemical engineer. So I learned to do things very methodically. And so I was in that mind frame of everything in order. If I'm not following a certain very specific order of doing things, then I'm not doing it right. And I lived my life like that for a long time. And when we had kids, I realized, oh my gosh, like everything changed overnight. It all became so heavy. We had so much stuff, so many things. And then you have this new little being that you have to entertain and take care of and all the things. And it was really tough. And at that point, I realized, okay, if I want to not drown, I have to. The initial thought was I need to clear everything. I just need to start from scratch, like everything. And not just with our stuff, but also with my time. And so then I started looking at how do I even start doing this? And I was looking for very specific methods of doing things. So I researched and I listened to people. And it didn't work for me because in a lot, and this might happen to a lot of people, that in our work, we're very detailed and orderly, and our desks at work may look really pristine and in order. At home, it was completely different. And mostly because I felt overwhelmed by it all at home. And at work, I was very much in control. So I needed to get back that sense of control over what was happening at home. And that's where I started. And that's ultimately where I ended up, why I started organizing as a profession, as my job, because I saw that other people were feeling the same I was.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to figure that out. And I'm like, no, we should not be suffering like that. We should not. There are ways to do this, and there are ways to make it simple, no matter what your preference is for how you approach things. And so I tend to do things now in sprints. You and I were talking about this. We hear a lot, and this is absolutely true, that we must start small. If things feel overwhelming, it's absolutely great to start small. Start doing one little thing, your junk drawer, pick a little space, and it will build momentum. And yet what I was seeing is a lot of working moms, that wasn't necessarily possible for them. It wasn't realistic. Doing things little by little was not getting them there. They would do a little bit of something, and then the very next week it would become cluttered and messy again. And so they needed something a little different. And so now I tend to focus on things that I call sprints. So let's do your kitchen in a weekend, but let's do it in a way that's not overwhelming, that's not making you think about, oh, what do I need to get rid of? And let's make it simple and calm, but you're still making huge progress. So by Monday morning, you've got a decluttered kitchen. Now, it's not a Pinterest kitchen necessarily, but it's a kitchen, maybe. But it's a kitchen that I call it a no cry. I have a no cry mornings. Not just my kids not crying, but like me. I don't really cry on Monday morning because I can't figure out what I want to wear, or I can't make breakfast on time to get them out the door on time, and all these things. So you start with a sprint and then you maintain. And like you said, it's a test. So I declutter in a sprint, and then over the next week, I'm evaluating what's working, what's not, what's working, and you make tweaks. And that's it. And it's no pressure because it's all you, and you haven't gotten rid of anything necessarily. Everything is available to you. It's doable. And so that's how I think to approach things now.
I love the idea of sprinting because I personally, let's say I'm doing a new health plan. I like to see progress so that I know that I'm making a difference. And so I do love like hardcore the first week or whatever. So a weekend of decluttering and focusing in on your kitchen or a certain area is exciting to me because you'd actually see the progress that you've made.
Exactly. I've tried so many diets over the years and that kind of thing, or health plans. And ultimately, if I don't feel that it's making a difference, I would tend to quit. And so I needed to understand, okay, what would make me be consistent, stick with doing what I need to do. And it's having a big wind up in the beginning. And then continuing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. So if you're listening, you can do sprints and you can do 15 minutes. So you get to test both of those and see what you like, what works. And yes, maybe they work in different seasons at different times in your life as well.
And it works. I think they work concurrently, because if you do a sprint, that's not to say that okay, that's it. That's the end all and be all. You've got to maintain. You've got to do the maintenance over the week, the 15 minutes. So.
And I think of that too, is talking about the kitchen, the 15 minutes of tidying up or revamping your refrigerator or your pantry before you put groceries in every week. That would be your 15 minutes. And then you could maintain that space. Or when you're putting grocery or dishes away from the dishwasher, every time you do that, you tidy up one little area. It takes 2 minutes.
I call that micro decluttering, right? Like as soon as when I'm putting away socks, if I find an errant no pair sock, it's coming with me. That's in the drawer.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Micro decluttering. I love it. Okay, Z, tell us, where can people find you and learn more?
You can find me at Firefly Bridge Organizing. So that's fireflybridge.com is my website, at Firefly Bridge Organizing on Instagram. And I also have a podcast. It's Organizing for Beautiful Living. And actually, if we're looking to get started with sprints and things like that, I think it's wonderful if people want to learn more about how to do it. I'm going to do a class coming up, and I'll send you the link and people can look into that and see if it's for them.
Yeah. What's your class called?
It's the 3 simple steps to declutter your kitchen in just a weekend.
Oh, I love it. Okay. We'll link to all of that. And one closing thought for those listening that are still sitting there feeling really overwhelmed with either their business or the home, what would your advice be?
Oh. Being choosy is something that is learned. It's not something that comes maybe naturally to us because we're affected by society, but what we've been taught in school. And people don't teach us how to organize in school, how to organize the way that works for us. So if the only thing you take away from today is be choosy about where you spend your time and where you're focusing your energy so that you actually feel good and make forward progress. That's all that matters. That's all that matters right now.
I love it. Thanks for being here.
Oh, of course, this was fun. Thank you.
Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.